The ultrasound image trembled in my hands as my world tilted sideways. I'd looked at thousands of these scans during my radiology career, but this one made my mouth fill with the metallic taste of pure terror. The shape was wrong. The density was wrong. Everything about what my pregnant sister believed was her healthy baby was catastrophically wrong. Around me, Lena's gender reveal party continued in blissful chaos. Pink confetti falling like snow, guests laughing over cupcakes, my parents recording every moment on their phones. But all I could see was that scan burned into my vision like an afterimage. Where there should have been tiny bones and fluid, a solid mass stared back at me, dark and unmistakable. My name is Maeve. I'm 39, and I'm a radiologist. This is the story of how I exposed the people who nearly killed my sister with their lies. The noise around me became muffled like being underwater. Lena floated from guest to guest, her hand resting protectively over her stomach, accepting congratulations for a pregnancy that didn't exist. She'd been talking to this baby for months, painting the nursery, choosing names. The longer I watched her glow with maternal joy, the more I felt like I was watching someone sleepwalk toward a cliff. My sister had always been the gentle one. Growing up, she cried at Disney movies and collected stuffed animals. I was the older sister with steady hands who fixed things, scraped knees, broken hearts, impossible problems. But standing in her backyard, surrounded by celebration, I couldn't fix anything without destroying her world first. "Maeve, take a photo of us," Mom called, waving her phone. I lifted my hand but couldn't move. The ultrasound felt like it was burning a hole in my pocket. Lena bumped my shoulder. "You're so quiet. Overwhelmed by all this cuteness?" She gestured at the decorations. Tiny socks on twine, cupcakes with question marks, a giant balloon waiting to reveal the gender. "Just taking it in," I managed, though my skin tingled with dread. I studied her face, glowing with the kind of hope that blinds people to reality. She'd been to Nest and Bloom Imaging 3 times, that boutique ultrasound studio that promised keepsake memories. No medical training required, just pretty pictures and false reassurance. They'd told her everything was perfect, that her baby was developing beautifully. They'd handed her a life-threatening diagnosis, wrapped in pink ribbon. The countdown began around us. 3, 2, 1. The balloon popped, releasing pink confetti as everyone cheered. Lena burst into tears of joy, hugging Ethan as he spun her around. "Our little girl," she sobbed against his chest. I felt something crack inside my ribs. While they celebrated a lie, a tumor was growing in my sister's abdomen, stealing space, stealing time, stealing the future she thought she was carrying. I needed Ethan now. He was across the yard, grinning like he'd just won the lottery. When our eyes met, I must have looked like I was drowning because his smile faltered instantly. "Ethan," I called quietly, weaving through guests. "We need to talk now." "What's wrong? Is Lena—" "Laundry room, now!" The music thumped behind us as we slipped inside and shut the door. The celebration became a distant pulse through the walls. "That ultrasound," I said, choosing my words like surgical instruments. "It's not what you think." His face went blank. "What do you mean? The baby?" "There is no baby." The words fell between us like stones. "Ethan, that's not a pregnancy. It's a mass, and it's serious." The color drained from his face all at once. "No, she's been feeling movement. I know what she thinks she felt, but I've read thousands of these scans. Trust me." He gripped the washing machine to steady himself. "You're sure?" "I wish I wasn't." Outside, another cheer erupted. Inside, Ethan stared at me with terror flooding his eyes. "What do we do?" "We get her to the hospital tonight." What followed was the longest night of our lives, convincing Lena to leave her own party, the confused ride to the emergency room, the ultrasound that confirmed my worst fears, a massive ovarian tumor, benign but life-threatening if left untreated. Lena didn't scream when the truth finally emerged on the hospital monitor. She just folded inward like someone had pulled all the bones out of her body. "Where's the heartbeat?" she whispered, staring at the screen. "There is no heartbeat," Dr. Harper said gently. "There never was." As Lena crumbled in that hospital bed, one thought burned through my grief and rage. Someone was going to pay for this. Someone had looked my sister in the eye, handed her a picture of a tumor, and told her it was her healthy daughter. They'd taken money to lie to a desperate woman. They'd nearly killed her with their incompetence. They just didn't know yet that they'd messed with the wrong family. Surgery was scheduled for dawn. I spent the night pacing hospital corridors, building a plan that would make sure no other woman endured what Lena was going through. While she slept fitfully with Ethan holding her hand, I started making calls. First, I contacted families I suspected had similar experiences. Jenna Hale cried as she told me how Nest and Bloom had missed her baby's congenital defects. Lauren Perez described how they'd promised her a healthy boy. She delivered a girl with chromosomal abnormalities they never detected. Michael Tan's wife nearly died when they missed her ectopic pregnancy. "They told me everything looked fine," Amber Wu whispered. I almost bled out in my apartment. Every story painted the same picture: untrained operators giving medical advice, false reassurances covering dangerous negligence. I compiled it all: testimonies, medical records, bills, everything. Dr. Blake removed Lena's tumor successfully. "She'll recover," he assured us, pulling off his surgical mask. The mass was benign, but if we'd waited much longer, it could have twisted, ruptured, or compromised her other organs. After bringing Lena home from the hospital to recover, I couldn't rest knowing other families might face the same nightmare. While Lena healed physically, I waged war on the people responsible. Over the following 3 weeks, I methodically built my case. I called Daniel Reeves at the State Medical Board. "We've been monitoring places like this," he said after reviewing my evidence. "If you can document more cases, we can take action." I didn't sleep for 3 days. I interviewed families, collected medical reports, built an ironclad case of negligence and fraud. Each new story added another stone to the mountain of evidence I was building. Journalist Talia Grant didn't hesitate when I contacted her. "Send me everything," she said. "This needs daylight." The coordinated shutdown happened on a Tuesday morning. I went with the medical board investigators to watch justice unfold in real time. Candace Doyle stood behind Nest and Bloom's pink reception counter, surrounded by stuffed animals and fake medical certificates. Her smile died when she saw the badges. "This facility is operating without required licensing," Daniel announced. "You're ordered to cease all services immediately." "This is just a keepsake business," she protested. "People know it's for fun." I stepped forward, my voice cutting through her excuses like a scalpel. "My sister nearly died because of your fun." She heard a heartbeat from a tumor. She bought baby clothes for a mass that could have killed her. And she wasn't the only one. Fear finally flickered in Candace's eyes. "Your sister must have misunderstood." "She heard what you told her to hear," I said coldly. "Just like dozens of other women who trusted you with their lives." Talia's news crew arrived as the premises were secured. Standing on that sidewalk, speaking into the camera, I felt the weight of every family's story behind my words. "What do you want viewers to understand?" Talia asked. "That ultrasound isn't entertainment, it's medicine. And when untrained people pretend otherwise, people die." The segment aired that night. My phone didn't stop ringing. More families came forward, each with their own story of Nest and Bloom's negligence. Attorney Marissa Cole filed a consolidated malpractice suit representing dozens of victims. The trial took months. I sat behind Lena as she testified, her voice trembling but strong. "I loved a baby who never existed," she told the jury. "Because someone handed me a picture and told me she was real. That lie changed everything." Candace Doyle stared at the defense table throughout the trial, unable to meet the eyes of the families she'd devastated. When the verdict came down, guilty on all counts, the courtroom held its breath. Barred from operating any health-related business, massive restitution payments, criminal charges filed, Candace left in handcuffs while news cameras captured every step. Only then, watching justice finally have a face and a sentence, did I allow myself to breathe. Lena reached for my hand as we walked out of the courthouse. "You kept your promise," she whispered. For the first time in months, she smiled. Recovery wasn't linear for any of us. Some days, Lena woke up determined to reclaim her life. Other days she sat wrapped in blankets, staring at nothing while trauma rewired her quietly in ways only time would reveal. The trauma tested Lena and Ethan's relationship, but working through the healing process together ultimately strengthened their bond and prepared them to become parents in a different way than they'd originally planned. Ethan learned when to offer comfort and when to give space. Our parents struggled to understand how everything they'd celebrated at that party had been built on lies, but healing happened in small moments. Cups of tea, quiet conversations, long walks where no one demanded answers. Trauma had rearranged us, but it hadn't broken us. 6 months later, Lena called with something new in her voice: steadiness. The adoption process had taken 4 months, giving Lena time to heal both physically and emotionally. When I arrived at their house, she was on the couch cradling a tiny bundle in a yellow blanket. Dark eyes blinked up at me, curious and real. "This is Sophie," Lena whispered. "We finalized the adoption this morning." The baby's hand curled around my finger, impossibly light and unmistakably alive. Lena leaned against my shoulder. I didn't think I could love again after everything, but the moment I held her, I knew she was always supposed to be ours. Sitting there with Lena and Sophie, I realized something profound. The truth hadn't ruined us. It had saved us. Lies would have stolen Lena's life and shattered every moment that was meant to come after. But choosing to face reality, however brutal, had made room for something honest and hopeful to grow. Families aren't defined by perfect moments. They're defined by the ones we survive together. The investigation revealed that Nest and Bloom had operated for 5 years without proper licensing, affecting over 200 families. 14 other unlicensed ultrasound studios were shut down statewide. New legislation required all prenatal imaging facilities to employ licensed sonographers and provide clear disclaimers about their limitations. Sometimes I still think about that party. The pink confetti, the celebration, the moment everything could have gone differently. But I don't regret shattering that illusion. In a world full of comfortable lies, sometimes the most loving thing you can do is insist on the truth. If someone you love is facing a medical crisis, trust your instincts. Ask questions. Demand credentials. Get second opinions. Your vigilance might save their life. Before you go, here's a quick bonus for sticking around. If you love learning and growing like I do, you need to try audiobooks. I've got an exclusive deal with Audible. Your first month is completely free. That's access to over 500,000 titles, zero cost to you. All the details are waiting in the description. Don't miss this one.